Good morning to all. I, Vanya,
I, Bhumika. And I, Janya.
am going to show you the experiment of dissolving saturated and supersaturated solutions with salt. So let's get started. Firstly, I will show you that salt is soluble in water. Materials required for this activity are a glass of water, salt and a spoon. First, we need to take a spoonful of salt and put it in water. Next, stir it well. After mixing the salt, you will observe that the salt has dissolved in water without forming a separate layer or settling down. Hence, this shows that salt is soluble in water.
Thanks, Vanya, for demonstrating this activity.
Now, I, Bhumika, is going to show you a very interesting thing. As Vanya has already shown you that salt is soluble in water, I prove that this is not the case always. When we add salt, which is the solute in this case, to water, which is the solvent, constantly the spaces between the molecules of water gets filled and no more salt can be dissolved. This is known as saturation point of water. So, does it look a bit difficult? Let's look at the experiment. So, the things required for this activity are a bowl of salt and half glass of water and a spoon to mix. Now, first we'll add 1 spoon of salt into water. As you all already know that 1 spoon of salt when is mixed to water, it easily gets dissolved. Now I'll add 1 more spoon. It is still dissolving in water. Now I'll take a big spoon to add to water. It still got dissolved. I'll add 1 more spoon. This one also got dissolved. I'll add a big spoon now. Now we'll add a bigger spoon. This time the salt has made a layer beneath water, and this shows us that a saturated solution has been formed.
So wasn't it too interesting? Thank you Vanya and Bhumika for showing dissolving and saturated solution. So as you all know what is dissolving and saturation, so let's have a look at what is supersaturated solution. We have two things, solvent and solute. Solvent has a capacity but solute doesn't have it. So when a solute is mixed into the solvent with more quantity, so that solution stops mixing in it, and that solution is known as supersaturated solution. A bit confusing? So let's have a look at practical. So the things we need for this activity are a half cup of water, a bowl filled with salt, and a pan. We need to first lit the pan, add water in it, let the water boil for a minute or so. Let's begin adding salt in it. Let's start with the full spoon and let's begin dissolving it. Just keep on stirring the water on a high flame. as you see, the salt has totally dissolved in the water. Let's add another spoonful of salt. And let's begin dissolving this in the water. As you see, the water is still boiling on a high flame. And the salt has dissolved in it. Let's begin with taking a bigger spoon. We have been adding 3 spoonfuls of salt, but yet the salt is dissolving. Let's add let's add 2 big spoons and check if the flame should be high. Let's add a big more spoon. Let's add another one. And as you can see, the salt is stopped dissolving in the water because the salt has stopped dissolving in the water because the capacity of water was low than the salt we added. And so isn't it interesting that even while boiling, the salt has settled down in the pan. So you can also try this activity, and we have created a super saturated solution. So now I'll pour the super saturated solution into a glass, and using a spatula we will pour the salt as well as in the water to see the effect. Now this is the solution in which this is the salt and this is the water. This is also known as sedimentation or crystallization of the super saturated solution.
Thanks for watching.
Stay home.
Stay safe.